It was one of the biggest sets of 2022, and this year it should be the last where it will be available for sale. It's the 10303 Loop Coaster, the latest set from the Fairground collection theme, which is a mix of a drop tower and a roller coaster. I'm a big fan of the theme and I have them all, although I still need to assemble the last two precisely, the roller coaster and the haunted house. Therefore, my expectations for this set were very high. My favorite theme is City, and I love anything that can increase the interaction between the minifigures. However, when I saw some of the comments about this set, and especially the opinions left on LEGO.com, I was really surprised. It's not terrible, but from 1 to 5 it has a 3.8 out of 149 opinions. Therefore, I became even more eager to build it and try to understand the reason for this dissatisfaction. But starting from the top, the Loop Coaster is a set with 3,756 elements and a retail price of €400. This is equivalent to a price per part of a little bit over than 10.5 cents. While it is true that it is a very expensive set and unfortunately not within everyone's reach, it is also true that many of the elements that it has are large, and some created specifically for this set, which explains the price a little bit. Contains 11 figures and measures 92 centimeters in height, 85 in length and 34 in width. It's really huge, so big that not even the image fits on the front of the box. The construction is one of the highlights of the set, and get ready because you need a lot of space to build it. I was not prepared and had some difficulty photographing and especially filming the steps during the construction. With the first steps, we start with the accessories, a good part of the minifigures, which at the time were practically exclusive, but now some are even relatively common, and parts of them even appear in the BAM areas in the LEGO stores, that build the minifigure area. We have a green zone with a garden bench, a cheeky squirrel, we'll soon find out why, and a map of the park with reference to several other LEGO sets. We have 3 sellers and their respective business. A balloon seller with his bicycle fully equipped with balloons and with helium, a pretzel cart, quite expensive by the way, and a hot dog seller where the price of mustard is more expensive than gold. A sad child, we will also understand why later, and then some extra figures which will be the roller coaster passengers with dull faces, almost all of whom have a scared face, except one who has no fear at all. The base is divided into 2 parts. One where the loops and a good part of the rails will be installed, and the other with a functional part, tower and gears. In the first part, several pillars of different heights are built, connected together by structures made with plates and clips, in order to guarantee stability when the wagons travel along the rails. We also have the entrance with an arch and some stickers, one of which has a minimum height to be able to ride the attraction. And that's the reason for the child's sad face. There is also a dark tan path which leads to a staircase to the platform where the minifigures can enter the carriages, which will be built at the end. After placing the loops, we begin building the huge frame, an extremely tall structure which some may consider somewhat monotonous in its construction process. It is relatively solid, I will talk about this at the end, and has very interesting details in terms of stability, which could serve as inspiration for other constructions, and also rail placement. It is very ingenious to place the rails sideways in order to take advantage of their accentuated curvature. After creating the logo, saying loop, we will build the most monotonous part of the set, another tall pillar where more than 200 thread elements will be placed. Finally, only the functional part is left. We have the mechanism that will lift the wagons to the top, requiring a counterweight on the other side for preventing a big fall of the structure after it leaves the wagons at the top. At the same time as this works, another mechanism is activated which will allow the wagons, after descending and stopping, to return to the start to be lifted again. We also have the hand crank engine that will make all of this work, and finally the platform where minifigures can enter the wagons. Personally, I love this section, especially with the stickers used, representing imaginary photos by a camera that is actually hidden in one of the loops, and which simulates the terrified expression that the minifigures make at the moment of descent. Highlight for the mischievous squirrel who also decided to ride the roller coaster, And I love the roof detail on this one, with tiles and with clips attached to rails serving as cover. That's it. Now all that's left is to test it. And for that, I bought the motor and battery box to be able to test the set as much as possible. After reading the user comments on the website, and after testing, I can perfectly understand the reasons behind those. This is possibly one of the most delicate, but also most incredible sets in terms of engineering that I have built. The mechanism is impressive, but everything needs to be aligned perfectly for the set to work, and this does not always happen, and some corrections may be necessary, which I will mention below. The moment of truth has arrived, and first test manually, I start to hear a lot of noises as the mechanism rises and some resistance in the chain as well. And no, it does not work. This noise indicates that the chain is too wide or too large. Just remove one or two segments and this will no longer happen. Another thing that I notice is that we need to be careful while turning the crank. If we are too rough, part of the structure can come apart and it only needs to happen in one place for this not to work. It is also necessary to check some specific connection points, such as the spillage connections to the structure. It's leaning, the wagons will not enter the rails when reaching the top if it's not aligned, and the gigantic structure that we built previously may also have its connections poorly fitted. Due to the vibration, some alignments the rails need to be checked regularly as they come loose quite easily. Another very important note, the loop coaster must be placed on a perfectly flat table without any type of angle or bending. Therefore, be careful when placing it on shelves as they may have some type of unevenness due to the weight placed on top. After checking all these points, I tested it again and it works perfectly. Now, let's set the engine. First of all, one more clarification. Although its motorization is really simple, the instruction could have been a little bit clearer. And there is an error, as it's not possible to control its operation through the Power Up app. And honestly, the app it's not even necessary. It works perfectly and without the worry of using too much strength when turning the crank. It was running uninterruptedly for 15 minutes without any problems. The next day I tested it again and it failed. I checked all the connections and angles, made some adjustments and it worked again. And it's wonderful to see it in action. Now, the hardest part remaining for me is the conclusion. Is it worth buying the set? Despite being a huge set with almost 4,000 elements and many hours of construction required, apart from assembling more than 200 thread segments, I really enjoyed the construction. I don't know if it was the anxiety to see it working, but honestly for me it was an excellent building experience. And be careful because I'm not a big fan of technique building the system, and as I'm always afraid of making a mistake, but I didn't have any problems building the set. As I said before, I'm a huge fan of the Fairground collection, and anyone who also is, or who has a large CD display at home, this set is worth the effort for purchasing it. But yes, an extra dose of patience is necessary as you'll probably feel some frustration when some element does not work correctly. Nowadays, when we have less and less time and patience for life, this can be an obstacle. For me, it's not a display set, this is an outlet to integrate in the layout and to play with. You can even customize it with themes such as the pirate or even a medieval attraction, why not? And if you don't want to play with it, there are other sets that suit you better. But if you do, it's really a fun show to see it working and to impress visitors at your place. I believe that executing the set was extremely difficult and took a lot of time for the designers, and that for this reason there were some imperfections that did not have the necessary time to be rectified. Personally, I think there should be some more stability in the tower and structure, and more fixing points for example. But the mechanism works very well. The more experienced fan will be able to make the necessary adjustments to rectify one issue or another. But overall, it's a set that gave me a lot of pleasure building. So, what is your opinion on this set? Does anyone have it? Did you have difficulties building it? Please leave your thoughts on the comments below. Thank you Lego and the Land for sending this set for review. Opinions on it are my own. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the coming videos with more Disney novelties. And most importantly, stay well.